Have you seen Scary Movie? I think it's like 4.
I think I tapped out at Scary Movie 3.
No, because in Scary Movie 4 they have like Michael Jackson and they have, or is that maybe 3? Anyway, in this one they for sure have like a whole, what is that one movie where like there's like they're all in red? It's not Handmaid's Tale, but like the other one. It was M. Night.
Oh, The Village.
The Village. They have like a Village thing. They have Saw. They have War of the Worlds, and they have The Grudge.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, that's all to say. Nothing, actually.
I was about to say that story went nowhere. Sorry, Liz.
It went nowhere. It was no story. I was simply asking if you'd seen 5, 4,
3,
2,
1.
I put a spell on you, and now you're mine. You can't stop the things I do. I ain't lying. It's been 300 years, right down to the day, and now the witch is back, and there's hell to pay. I put a spell on you, and now you're mine. Thank you. How was that?
That was actually pretty good.
Yeah, you think?
Mm-hmm.
Bette Midler? I was channeling Bette Midler in that one. I don't know if she does the whole like scream at the end, but I made it up. You can cut that out, okay?
Welcome back to The Critics in the Crowd, everybody. This is Steele Philippek, leading you back into the realms where theatergoers fear to tread, along with my co-host, Liz Ramirez.
Hello, I am Liz Ramirez, the cool co-host of The Critics and the Crowd. I'm an actress, producer, movie fan, and Sanderson sister lover.
Together, we cover the media that divides audiences and professionals. That box office bomb that the critics lapped up, it's in our queue. That smash hit that made critics puke, right behind. We're here to cover all of that stuff upon which people can't decide. And from the way that my co-host is beaming, I have a feeling that this is going to simultaneously be a great episode for all of you listening and a slog for yours truly. So, Liz, I'm letting you out of the barn. What movie are we covering today, and why do you have a grin the size of a school bus on your face?
I'm sorry. Steele.
Oh, wow. So that's how you felt about this film.
I put too much thought into the song, and now I can't get my notes together. Hold on. This film is an absolute classic, nostalgic film for me. It's autumn leaves and cool breeze, full moon nights. It's the anticipation at school, waiting for that bell to ring so you can go home, put that costume on, and collect candy to your heart's content. It's family coming over and filling your heart with complete joy as you eat Halloween-themed treats, listen to Monster Mash, and trade off the night's earnings. This film is the very essence of what Halloween means to me. Hocus Pocus means so much to me, and I'll get a little personal here. This was one of my late aunt's most favorite movies. She was like a second mother to me, and I love watching it every October as it makes me feel immeasurably close to her. To me, this film can do no wrong, and the naysayers can kiss my big toe. There is a bit of magic at play here, all the right elements coming together to make a thrilling 1 hour and 36 minutes of wicked hijinks. I don't know about you still, but this movie either put a spell on me or is just an absolute masterclass in filmmaking, acting, and storytelling.
I guess I'm going to have to kiss your big toe at a certain point.
Yeah, that's right. The stats. Walt Disney Pictures released Hocus Pocus in July of 1993, which, according to producer David Kirshner, was an attempt to capitalize on children being home on summer break. It didn't work, though. Hocus Pocus was modestly budgeted at $28 million. It only managed to gross a little over $53 million at the box office. As an aside, and as a very general rule, a film typically needs to take in at least double its budget to make a profit due to theater cuts, promotions, and other fees. A synopsis of the film.
Conjured up by some unsuspecting pranksters, a tricky trio of 300-year-old witches set out to cast a spell on the town and reclaim their youth. But first, they must get their act together and outwit 3 kids and a talking cat.
Audiences weren't the only group that were cool to Hocus Pocus' charms. Critics savaged the film at the time, with the current Rotten Tomatoes consensus as such.
Harmlessly hokey, yet never much more than mediocre, Hocus Pocus is a muddled, family-friendly effort that fails to live up to the talents of its impressive cast.
What a cast it is, though. particularly the Sanderson sisters. Most notable is, of course, the legendary Bette Midler, star of stage, screen, and song as Winifred Sanderson, the eldest of the witches. Mary Sanderson is played by Kathy Najimy, who had broken out with Sister Act and The Kathy and Mo Show, and would go on to numerous other credits, not the least of which is as Peggy Hill in the long-running animated series King of the Hill. And as Sarah Sanderson, we have Sarah Jessica Parker, 5 years away from superstardom in Sex in the City. SJP had been acting on Broadway since the age of 11 and had already appeared in films like LA Story, Footloose, Flight of the Navigator, Honeymoon in Vegas, and Striking Distance.
That's not a good film, but it was shot in my hometown of Pittsburgh, so it elevates it from mediocre to legendary in my book. The rest of the cast is rounded out by a bevy of talented character actors, not the least of which is, playing Danny Dennison, Thora Birch, who would later star in Now and Then, American Beauty, and Ghost World. Coming directly off of Erie, Indiana, and 149 episodes of Dallas is Omri Katz as Max Dennison. Sean Murray, Vanessa Shaw, Stephanie Ferrasi, Kathleen Freeman, and Jason Marsden, who Disney lovers will recognize as the voice of Max Goof, round out the top billing, but one special call-out. Playing the zombie, Billy, is Doug Jones, the contortionist and physical actor who has appeared in Pan's Labyrinth, Hellboy, The Shape of Water, Star Trek Discovery, What We Do in the Shadows, and too many other films to name. If you've seen a crazy monster in a film in the last 2 decades, there's a good chance that Dougie was underneath the makeup.
Also of note, the director, Kenny Ortega. He'd had his directorial debut the year prior to Hocus Pocus with Newsies, another box office disappointment that has since become a cult hit on television, DVD, streaming, and Broadway. He'd later go on to direct the first 3 High School Musical films, to Wong Fu, Thanks for Everything, Julie Newmar, and a bevy of television work on Chicago Hope, Ally McBeal, Gilmore Girls, and the very first 3 Descendants films. Fun fact, Ortega had gotten his start as a dancer, actor, and choreographer, and had or would work with Gloria Estefan, Michael Jackson, Hugh Jackman, Miley Cyrus, and Cher on tour. Notable work includes the dance work in Dirty Dancing and Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Don't forget the Cheetah Girls 2. Do not forget the Cheetah Girls 2. Anyway.
Do you remember the parade scene in Ferris Bueller's Day Off? A huge chunk of that is thanks to Mr. Ortega, who also did some second unit directing with the picture, too.
Production was mostly handled in sound stages in Los Angeles, though the filmmakers spent 2 weeks in Massachusetts for exterior work, shooting in Salem, Marblehead, and Pioneer Village, a living museum that captures the way of life of colonial life, akin to colonial Williamsburg.
Though initially a box office disappointment, Hocus Pocus would go on to become a smash hit on home media. Through September of 2024, it has raked in over $40 million in DVD sales, about half that much in Blu-ray, and untold tens of millions in VHS sales and rentals. It is one of the most streamed films ever on Disney Plus, with over 25 million views, and remains a staple of ABC, ABC Family, and the Disney Channel, particularly around Halloween, where it continues to draw millions of viewers each year. A direct-to-streaming sequel launched in 2022, and a third film is in production. All told, while not a hit initially, it's clear that Hocus Pocus has become a money-making machine for Disney, and a beloved rewatch for witches and witches at heart.
Initial thoughts.
So, Liz, the critics on Rotten Tomato are currently at 41% on this film, a bit below a 2-star review, but audiences are much kinder, giving it 72%. That's a 31-point difference, not our biggest divide, but still quite a gap. I think I know where you're going to fall initially, but tell our audience what your initial thoughts were coming back to Hocus Pocus.
I was so excited getting right back into Hocus Pocus. It was kind of weird watching it. Can I give away?
Yeah, sure.
It's April. It's April. I'm watching Hocus Pocus in April. Never thought I'd be doing that. But lucky for me, it was a nice rainy night. And so I was like snuggled in and I was watching Hocus Pocus. And it was just such a fun time coming back into it. I did stream it on Disney Plus, so I am one of the 25 million, LOL. Proud 25 mil. Anyway. Yeah, right at the opening, we have the classic Disney storybook, Hocus Pocus, and then it opens. And then we have quick title cards, which is really nice. I love when we go quickly to open up. And then we have the song, come little children, I'll take you away into the land of enchantment. Iconic! Anyway, that's all I have to say about this film. I was just really excited. I was all giddy and excited and happy like I was a little kid. All I needed was some candy and popcorn. I really got to get that for the next time I do these.
I skipped out on Hocus Pocus in theaters. It didn't seem like my kind of film, and I was proven right that Halloween when my mother rented it for me from Blockbuster. There were some fun things to it, but I just didn't have a lot of fun watching it. I caught it again, I want to say about a decade or so ago, when I was doing a not-so-scary Halloween movie marathon with my then-girlfriend. We also watched Beetlejuice, two Addams Family movies, and, unfortunately, Practical Magic.
What the hell? Oh, no, you did not just say that. Steele, you got to get out of my presence right now.
Practical Magic is garbage.
You're so absolutely wrong that it hurts me. Y'all, do not close your ears. Do not listen to Steele, even though he has dulcet tones or whatever the hell that is.
Yes.
Practical Magic is a masterpiece, and all of the girlies know it. All my people know it. And by my people, not even just, girlies is like all encompassing,
Back to Hocus Pocus. It still didn't capture my attention at that second viewing, so coming back for a third time go around, I was bracing myself, not for a slog, but I wanted to see if I could find something worthwhile in the film. This is a huge cult classic, particularly for young women who grew up in the 90s, so I wanted to see if I could discover what kind of magic had ensorcelled the fairer sex.
Why are we having a not-so-scary movie marathon?
My then-girlfriend hated scary movies, so we both wanted to celebrate Halloween, so we decided, let's have some fun with Halloween rather than get some scares.
It's Halloween night in 1693, or it would be, but Irish and Scottish immigrants hadn't yet imported it to the United States. In fact, the United States didn't exist yet. Well, never mind. We're in Salem, Massachusetts. 3 witch sisters, Winifred, Mary, and Sarah Sanderson, have captured young Emily Binks in hopes of draining her life force so that they can revitalize their bodies. Emily's brother Thackeray arrives at the witch's cottage to stop them, but alas, it's too late. The witches drain Emily's life force and become young again. Or as when he says, younger.
First up in their bag of tricks, now that they've revitalized, Winifred, Mary, and Sarah cast a spell on Thackeray, transforming him into an immortal black cat as a punishment for insulting them and attempting to stop their plans. Thackeray will have to live for an eternity with his guilt for not being able to save his sister's life. As for the witches, they're not going to get to enjoy their newfound youth for long. Elijah, a friend of Thackeray's, rallies the townsfolk. They capture and condemn the Sanderson sisters to death. But just before being hung, Winifred casts a magical musical curse, foretelling that when All Hallows Eve and a full moon coincide, a virgin will light the black flame candle in their cottage and return them to life. This is an insane opening for a film that is ostensibly family-friendly. We see a young girl murdered for her life force. 3 witches are hung. A young man is doomed for all eternity.
Honestly, though, it doesn't feel too bad. Because we know it's going to be okay.
Do we know it's going to be okay?
Maybe.
It's a Disney film.
It's a Disney film. We're having fun. The Sanderson sisters are already so iconic. They're like, look, another glorious morning.
Gotta say, Sarah Jessica Parker is looking mighty fine here. Yeah. She'd probably drain me of my soul and doom me to an eternity in hell, but I think I could fix her.
Anyway.
I do actually agree with you that this film opens with a bang. We get right into it. I think it has to because it takes a while to get back to the Sanderson sisters. It takes us about 30 minutes into the film for them to come back. So having something big, bombastic, and drop you right in is a wise decision, and it just immediately sets the tone for everything that is to come.
Absolutely. It's very well choreographed, I think. And Kenny Ortega, I wanted to call him Kenny. I do not know him, but I would love to know him one day. Love to thank him for everything. Kenny Ortega is known for really choreographing things, sort of seeing it through a dance lens. And so I do think everything has a nice flow to it. And of course, one thing leads to another and all that stuff. But yeah, big bombastic opening. We are in the world of Hocus Pocus.
We flash forward to 300 years later, where the events of the Sandersons' deaths are being recounted at a high school. Max Dennison isn't having any of it. He was just moved to Salem from Los Angeles by his parents, and is, as his teacher says, a skeptic. He's not thrilled with almost any part of this new home, but that doesn't stop him from hitting on Allison, a classmate and true believer in the whole dark arts history of the town. He's shot down, and after having his shoes stolen by 2 local toughs, Jay and Ice, he returns home, walking past his clueless parents, and tries to find solace in his drum kit. How many times is Max going to have to explain to us that he's moved here from LA? It's mentioned at a minimum 4 times in this opening.
You know what?
I'm from California. I'm from Los Angeles. I hate moving here from Los Angeles.
I think it's so cute, though. Why not have the trope just like really be the trope? Like, if you're really going to go for it, you're going to go for it. I mean, do we really need it that many times? Maybe. I mean, kids' attention spans at the time, I don't know. Or how good were they? I don't know. Probably not great, but maybe not as bad as now. But anyway, no, we're going in the wrong direction.
These kids are wildly into witchcraft and the power of Halloween. At this age and time, I would expect them to use it as an excuse to steal alcohol from their parents' liquor cabinet and party while listening to Black Sabbath. What's going on here? They're really into this.
First of all, they have to be for the movie. Anyway, second of all, I think it's really great. It's world building. Come on. Everyone's like, ooh, everyone knows who the Sanderson sisters are. Everyone knows that the Virgin will light the black flame candle one day and they're bringing them back. And everyone knows. And like now the place has been abandoned and ooh, everyone knows. And I think it's really fun. I mean, it brings the mystique for the audience to be like, okay, wait, maybe these people really are a big deal. Because imagine this. If the kids were like, oh yeah, like the Sanderson sisters, yeah, like, whatever. Then like, oh, then we wouldn't care about the Sanderson sisters and what they mean and how bad it could be if they come back. We're into it now. You know what I'm saying?
I guess we are into it.
Max's kid sister, Danny, has other plans for him, namely trick or treating. She tries asking, begging, and then screaming. Max is voluntold into watching Danny. And a good thing, too. Jay and Ice have recruited a motley crew of morons to help shake down trick-or-treaters for their candy. Max gives Ice his candy to stop him from pounding on Danny and berates his sister for her bratty behavior. They reconcile, kinda, and continue their Halloween adventure.
The next house has a bevy of treats, not the least of which is Allison. It took every ounce of my willpower not to write down a far filthier joke here. I was going to say...
Jesus. These are children.
Oh, yeah, excuse me. Her parents are throwing a Halloween soiree. Boring. And so when the talk turns to the Sanderson sisters, Max convinces the girls to join him in going to the old witch's cottage, which was a museum until it was shut down due to all the spooky stuff that happened there. The place is covered in cobwebs, but they discover Winnie Sanderson's spellbook and the black light candle, which the skeptical Max lights with a gift shop Zippo to prove that there's no real magic here.
And that's when the gates of hell literally open up.
Max is such an unlikable protagonist. He's arrogant, he's rude, he's mean to his little sister. I get that it sucks to move to a new place in the middle of a school year, and his parents are indeed clueless. But come on, my dude. Gotta give props for him just right in the open giving his number to Allison. Major props, dude.
Yo, I am always taken aback. I always forget that happens in the opening scene. He's just like, yeah, and he like hands it to her, like stands up. Class is still in session. Teacher is still up by the board, and he just gets up and gives to her his number. Honestly, I wish I had that much, but it's like supposed to be like he's very LA, like they have lots of balls in LA. So like, like, oh.
I thought the stereotype was that you're laid back in LA. Like, yeah, man,
Yeah, but he like doesn't really care, like I don't really care about like, what people say. But he like does, but he doesn't. So I'm gonna give you my number.
Why did the hippie lifeguard not save the drowning swimmer? Because he's too far out, man.
I've never heard that one. That was really, really good, y'all. Okay, yes. Max, what I have to like say in sort of objection to your criticism is that it feeds the character arc. It does. You can't. By the end, which we'll get to, Max learns and is a different person.
You're not wrong about that. It does happen pretty abruptly and like jarringly at points, but he does sacrifice or tries to sacrifice himself for his sister.
We only have an hour and 36 minutes. To create this like crazy character arc for a 15-year-old kid.
People have done more in less time.
Okay.
Danny talking about her figure here, referring to breasts as yabos. This is a family picture, right?
That's why they said yabos. If they said like anything else.
Tits, breasts, fun bags, memory glands.
Yeah, see, now that would get a PG-13. We need PG. Or actually, is it PG-13?
Oh, it's PG.
It's PG. See, I knew that. Anyway. Yeah, yabos. No, I don't even know what the hell yabo is. Now I do. Context clues, but yeah. She's not talking about her body. She's talking about Allison's.
In comparison to her.
Oh.
She is comparing her 8-year-old body to a 16-year-old body. This movie is obsessed with sex. Virgin much? Virgin. Who needs to light the candle? A virgin. Are you a virgin? Virgin.
And the last line being...
I had to find a Yeah.
Oh my God. Anyway, A torrent of magic fills the cottage, and the front door slams open to reveal Winifred, Mary, and Sarah return to life. They attempt to suck out Danny's soul, but Max and Allison race to her rescue. Thackeray Binks, still a cat after all these years, arrives and speaks to Max. Yep, he can talk. The cat commands Max to steal Winifred's spell book, and the kids flee to a cemetery, which the witches cannot enter. Hallowed ground. Binks gives Danny, Max, Allison, and the audience some backstory. He's been doing everything in his power to keep the witches from coming back. Nice going, Max.
The witches mount their brooms to swoop through the air, but the kids manage to keep the spellbook out of their hands. Fine, they're witches. They've got other tricks. Winifred raises a zombie from the dead. It's Billy Butcherson, her former fiancé who Winnie poisoned way back in the colonial times. He chases the children, slowly. He's an old-school Night of the Living Dead zombie, not a modern Zack Snyder run 100-meter in 10 seconds zombie. The children flee, and the Sandersons are right behind. They need to suck the life out of a child before dawn, or all three of them will turn to dust.
I am such a huge fan of Jason Marsden. Yeah, I know we talked about him previously, but he's back now as Thackeray, and that's him in his true form, I suppose. The cat Thackeray Binks, because Jason Marsden is not real-life Thackeray.
No.
Yeah.
It's a different actor, yeah.
See, and I didn't know that until literally when I was doing this 2 weeks ago, last week. He also is not related to James Marsden. I was like, are Jason Marsden and James Marsden related? No. Answer's no, but they're friends.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they're not related. I know, it's like Marsden is such a...
I knew that they weren't related. I didn't know that they were friends. That's funny.
Yeah, I mean, that's what Google said. So Google could be a liar, but I'm going to believe Google. As a kid, I would watch and hear his voice and be like, I know that voice. Little did I know he was Max in a Goofy movie. I did find out when I was a kid, though. For some reason, when I was younger, I thought you could only be in one movie. So seeing and hearing the overlap totally blew my mind. And that is what started for me, my obsession with knowing who is in movies and where they overlap. And I love playing this game. I don't know if you know the game. I call it the movie game, where you connect two actors by the movies they were in.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you know the one. Okay, everyone plays it, As my close friends know, I am very good at it. We should play.
We should play. According to an archived press release, the film's choreographer, Peggy Holmes, said each of the Sanderson sisters flew their brooms in character. Holmes said, quote, Winifred is in charge and much more aggressive than the other two. She's always leading the way and looking for children, unquote. Quote, Sarah loves to fly. She's always lifting up with her mop and can't wait to get up in the air, whereas Mary is more cautious. Like a good driver, she signals with her hands. Mary is the safe and steady flyer, unquote, she added.
The way these three command the screen. Are you joking me?
There's a reason why they continue to be iconic and at theme parks and in video games and in all of this stuff. They really carry this film. I think it's partly because they're allowed to chew the scenery and to just go big and bold. They hold the frame every time they're on screen. And sometimes I think it's to the detriment of the other actors. I'm not going to criticize young actors. It's not like they have the training of Bette Midler and Kathy Najimy and Sarah Jessica Parker, who was on stage in Broadway at the age of 11. That's crazy to me. But it is kind of juxtaposition there, and it doesn't always come out in their favor.
Interesting take. But okay. I know I talked about the choreography of the film in itself, but I want to talk about the choreography of the witches. You just talked about their sort of way that they would tackle being on the broom. I mean, we already open when they're casting their first spell, and we have this sort of like choreography and unit. They are truly one unit, and they have their own unique ways going about things, but they are one unit. They move as one. And I really, really love that, and I really love the attention to detail, and I really love how Kenny choreographed the way they do their spells and the way that they walk. You know that one walk when they're walking down the road and they go, I literally do that with my, friends or sisters. If I, actually, that's a lie. I feel like I wanted to do that with my friends or my sisters. Anyway, take that out because now I feel like a loser. Anyway.
It's going in.
Fudge!
The hair and makeup and the costumes are spectacular.
Absolutely. Iconic. I mean, all you need is is it a visage? Is that what you'd call it? Of them on like a silhouette of them on a bag. And you'd say like, Hocus Pocus, or like, oh, what a glorious morning, makes me sick. It's so sellable. Not that it was meant to be sellable.
Oh, this is a Disney movie.
Okay, I know.
But you're right. Matt Groening said about character design that you should be able to tell a character from a distance. He learned this from Mickey Mouse, where you could see at 5,000 feet or at 5 feet, those 2 ears and that face, and you know it's Mickey Mouse. And you could do it with any of The Simpsons. Matt Groening is the creator of The Simpsons and Futurama. And here, you can do it with the outlines of these witches.
Right.
You could see them in silhouette, as you say, and you know each of the witches and their basic personality type.
Exactly.
The Sandersons and the kids run through town, the former by bus, the latter on foot, arriving at Allison's parents' house. The kids try to warn the parents of the danger that is approaching, but remember, this is a Disney film, so the parents are clueless, self-absorbed, and or about to get their comeuppance. The Sandersons break out into an impromptu karaoke session and sing, "I put a spell on you." The adults, now enchanted, are forced to dance until they die. Serves them right.
The kids decide to turn the tables on the witches. The best offense is a good offense, after all. They lure the Sanderson sisters into the high school's pottery kiln. But though the witches are burned undead, their curse revives them once again.
This is a family movie. A family movie.
Well, I mean, they kind of like go into sparkles and stuff.
Sarah Jessica Parker is like alluring to this married man, and yeah.
Well, they think he's the devil. They think he's like their master. So
that's
like,
right.
it's a little different. I mean, to the bus driver though, we'll get into that. Anyway, I do want to talk about the relationship between Danny and Max. I think these two actors deserve a lot of credit. I know the lines can be a little silly sometimes, like, oh, jerk face or whatever. But I really do think that they sell the brother-sister relationship so well. It's so believable to me and so sweet. There's a moment when Danny's upset because Max is being meanie. And then he goes and apologizes. And it's like, well, it's really, really sweet. They have some very sweet moments in this movie. And I think that really is special to the film and also special for the watchers and the audience. And that's why it kind of like continues to live on for multiple reasons, but that being one of them.
Not realizing that the witches have survived, the kids let their guards down. Danny and Binks bond. Max and Allison flirt. And then they decide that this is the best time to use Winifred's spellbook in hopes of returning Thackeray to his human form. Unfortunately, that sends up a gigantic beacon on the ethereal plane and allows the witches to hone in on the children. They abduct Binks and Danny, retrieve the spellbook, and, using Sarah's magical voice, lure all of Salem's children to their cottage. Even Jay and Ice are trapped, the suckers. It's going to be a feast the likes of which has been unseen outside of the Somerset, PA Golden Corral that one summer when Hannibal Lecter was the main chef.
I want to go back and talk about the scene at Satan's house.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's funny. It's wild. It shows even more character building from the sisters. To me, it was always a little weird that this was put in a child's movie, but I'm not going to be mad at it. Also, the casual Gary Marshall cameo is crazy to me. There must be some sort of like story behind why he's in here. I want to know it. I would love to know, but a quick Wikipedia search reveals that this man is swimming in credits, which I didn't know as a kid.
You didn't know Okay, fine. You were a kid.
I was a kid.
Okay.
He's so multifaceted, writing, directing, producing, and acting some of the biggest hits of all time. And some of my biggest hits of all time, Princess Diaries, what? That's all I gotta say.
It's not all she has to say, audiences.
Definitely not. I've got more, but
I actually liked this twist and escalation here. I'm not going to say that the film was flat before, but this is getting us back into gear after a little bit of a break, and we're going to get closer and closer to dawn. Time is ticking, and so we need a little bit of a pump up here. I have to ask, why didn't they just use the kids that they trapped for their various machinations? Why did they have to go after Danny and Max and Allison?
Well, she said it because she's so pissed off at that little girl for calling her ugly, and the brother, she wants to get revenge. So now it's revenge based.
Yeah, but do that after you make sure that you're not going to get turned into dust or stone, depending upon the circumstance.
Completely true. I completely agree. I made zero sense. I mean, it's one of those silly plot lines where you're like, really, you could have saved yourself, and then you could have really gotten her and made sure that she was going to be dead. But it's for the plot. It's for the plot. Everything's for the plot. Everything's serving the plot. All the time serving the plot. You guys should see Steele's face right now. It's really ugly.
Saving the plot. Saying it's ugly. That's not news.
Hey! Well, no, don't be mean to yourself. Max and Allison manage to rescue Danny and Binks by temporarily tricking the dim-witted witches into believing that the sun has risen early. Daylight savings time. It's a brief reprieve because as they head back to the safety of the cemetery, they are caught by Billy, who cuts open his stitched mouth and reveals that he's on their side. He hates Winifred. It's all leading up to a final big brawl in the wee hours of the morning. Who's going to win? Innocent children or Satan? With the way this movie is going, it's actually a fair question.
Shout out to Dougie here as Billy Butcherson. He's pretty funny, and the physical acting, of course, is superb. I also have to say that the CGI for Binks is pretty good for the time, for the budgets. It's not like Jurassic Park level, although Jurassic Park came out in the same year, but they did a pretty good job of stitching that together. It's obvious now with HD screens and everything, but it was pretty good.
I absolutely have to agree. That was one of my pros, but we'll say it here. It really is very good for its time, and I believed it as a kid. Much better than, Salem and in Sabrina the Teenage Witch. Although Salem did have his moments, but that puppet, I don't know, man.
I think that's kind of part of the charm of Salem the Puppet. It is
You're
a little
right.
hokey.
You're right. And it was both. It was puppeteering and it was a real cat.
Yeah.
Isn't it? Well, that's how they do it. Anyway, not that it really matters. Everyone kind of knows. Whatever. I want to talk quickly about, well, first of all, we completely glazed over the most iconic scene in this film.
I put a spell on you? We talked about that.
Glazed! We really need to take like a minute or two or three, maybe the whole podcast, to talk about the fact that this changed lives. This is so iconic. Honestly, you can't even find it on Spotify. I don't know why. You can't find it on Spotify. It should be on Spotify. It's just on YouTube. Anyway, not that matters. Iconic. Incredible. Perfect. I'm trying to think of lots of adjectives and synonyms.
I need to get you a thesaurus.
I think you really should because I say a lot of the same words. I'll look into that.
Another joke. I have the worst thesaurus. Not only is it awful, it's awful.
But yes, what a great choice of song, great choreography, great choice in the changing of the words. It totally works. I don't know, whoever wrote that and changed that and created that, I mean, honestly, props to you. I'm sure it was like a mix of like Kenny and of course maybe the cast too.
We're going to get to that in the trivia.
Oh, hell yes. I haven't read the notes that far. Sorry, y'all. Anyway, I want to talk about the parents.
Yeah.
I love the parents in this film. They really sell their minor roles and do the most with the small amount they were given.
The actors are great. The parents themselves are clueless and awful. This is a Disney film, so of course the parents are clueless and awful.
Duh. Well, yeah, I'm not saying the parents are good people. I'm saying that the actors did such a great job with their characters.
Well, you said the characters. You said the parents, and so I'm like, okay.
Oh, well, no, I meant like, because like the Madonna thing, and then Dadcula, and then... And then when he's like, oh, don't call me dad, I'm Dadcula. And then he's like, there's something wrong with Danny. He's like, he goes back into like dad mode. It's really, really great. Also, the setting completely encapsulates the small town vibe. I watched an interview with Thora Burton where she says the film is like a time capsule of this moment in time of this thing. And I think it's really, truly rings true. And is one of the reasons we love the film so much.
The vibe is what sells this movie. It's what sells all of the Sanderson sisters merchandise and all of their appearances. For all of my criticisms of this film, it works together in terms of tone and aesthetic. It really does capture that New England fall feel, small town kind of whatever it might be. It's sometimes very hard to capture that, particularly when you're hopping from location to location, inside, on sets, outside. But I feel that this movie does it very well.
I want to bring up one of the small town moments, just for an example. It's when the pirate, when they're in the back of this sort of like, I don't know, lobster place? I don't know, like a seafood place. And the pirate comes out from the back and grabs the lobster. You know what I'm saying? It's just like those small little things that they don't need to add, but they do. And it just makes us feel like we're there.
The Sanderson sisters swoop in and around the cemetery as they attempt to use their last potion vial to suck out Danny's life force. They almost manage to do it too, grabbing the young girl. Binks sacrifices himself to distract the sisters. Max catches the potion as it flies through the air and drinks it. Winifred is about to suck out his life force, but it's too late. The sun is rising. Mary and Sarah turn to dust while Winifred falls off of her broom, hitting the ground and instantly turning to stone. Their lives are finally at an end.
The way I'm holding my temples with these lines still, oh my God.
I'm sorry. I'm taking the cues from this movie. This movie is what's making me make these jokes.
I mean,
Their lives are finally at an end.
And so is Binks. But it's okay. The end of the witches means that he can finally pass on to reunite with his sister, Emily. Billy is also able to finally rest. He returns to his grave and rests in peace. Danny and Max embrace. The enchanted adults are freed from their spell. Jay and Ice remain trapped in the witch's cottage. And Winifred's spellbook? It's still alive. Maybe the Sanderson sisters aren't gone for good. I felt like the conclusion was final. I know that there's the book with the eye in the end, but that's the same thing as Big Trouble in Little China, where they have that little monster in the back of the truck. Like
Big Trouble in Little China. Half of the fun of this podcast is making Liz annoyed. Max didn't get a kiss from Allison?
They kissed.
What did they?
I think I'm pretty sure they kissed. I'm
gotta
not paying attention. I know that they like each other.
Okay.
Oh yeah, because they're talking about the salt. No, they don't kiss.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. They don't kiss. Oh well.
Come on.
They're gonna kiss.
Do more than kiss, if you know what
Oh
I mean.
my god, literally. I can't believe you.
This film really ends abruptly. Like we're going. Oh, by the way, they're all dead, and now we're reunited in the afterlife.
I mean, sometimes third acts that happens to third acts, but I actually do enjoy the third act of this film. It did always upset me when the kids were dumb and opened the book, but I don't want to say it. I find Allison a little intolerable.
I find Max a little intolerable.
I mean, she's a very pretty girl and it works very well as love interest, but it's very stiff performance. Of course, she is a child.
She's a child. She's up against masters of her craft.
You're right. But I do think that Max and Danny really sell what they've got.
Max and Danny together, I think, work very well. I think sometimes when they are not, when they're opposite something else, when they're alone, it can be a little hard. I think Thora Birch did pretty good when she was talking to the cat. That's a hard scene to pull off for a young actor, and they have a little, I hesitate to use the word chemistry, but there is some nice kind of bonding that they have there. And it helps sell the sacrifice that Binks makes later on because they've had that time to come together.
The daylight savings time thing, I always thought was really smart and funny and clever, and also I like that Sam is able to get revenge on his bullies. So we kind of are closing up these little boxes that we opened, or like closing the doors to all the little things that have been touched on. I also want to point out that this is such a great example of the fine line drawn between theatrical performance and movie performance. I think that all three Sanderson sisters do an expert job of making their characters larger than life, but look so believable on screen. I mean, it's masterful what they do. You're shaking your head like you agree. You agree with me?
I am agreeing.
Hell yeah, dog.
Yeah, no,
You
they're
should.
great. There are lots of problems that I have with this movie, but there's a reason why this film continues to be a success, and it's the Sanderson sisters.
Absolutely.
The actors in this are just tremendous in these performances. If you had swapped out any one of these individuals, any one of this trio, I think it would have gotten a radically different film. I'm not sure if that film even survives its initial box office run, let alone becomes the cult classic that this is now.
I also love the character of Billy. I love the fact that he hated the witches and becomes a good guy. The addition of the little side characters not only show how wretched the witches were in their life, but also helps with our plot. I have to say the final confrontation feels worth it for me. I feel like we earned this. It doesn't feel too rushed. To me, I know to you, like, what? It has its fun quips and silly moments that have to happen for the plot, but I still love it. And then when they like burst into like glitter flames, they're like, pew, pew, and like her statue. Apparently there are like 7 of those made, and one of them, plus the book, sits in Planet Hollywood.
Huh.
I know, isn't that crazy? I would love to go to Planet Hollywood and see that statue of Winifred. It doesn't even look like Bet.
I was about to say.
It really looked bad, but I love that it does that. I think it's really genius showing very quickly where all of our supporting characters ended up so we would be left with no questions. I know the book opens its eye at the end, leading to potential sequels and more to the story, but I feel like we have all we needed. We got all we needed. I'm curious to watch the new one. I think I started like 30 minutes of it and then I stopped. I don't remember why, because I was just like, meh.
I'm willing to give it a shot. Director Adam Shankman, who we talked about from The Wedding Planner, which you love, and Hairspray, which I think we both love, is the guiding spirit of that film, as it were. Get it? Because of witches? Yeah, guiding spirit. So I'm willing to give it a shot. I trust his directorial vision, if one can be said to have such a thing in a movie like Hocus Pocus 2.
Can we pay some respect to Jason Marsden and Sean Murray, okay? Because I want to just point this out, give them all their love. I did a quick Google search because it was right then when I was watching this that I realized that Thackeray Binks, his voice is not the same. And I saw what Jason Marsden looked like, and I was like, see, I know that's not the same Thackeray that I just watched in Hocus Pocus. So I went back and back, realized it is two different people. The team thought that Sean Murray, human Thackeray, thought his voice was too modern and wanted an old English sound. Oh, much like Steele over here. So they brought in Jason Marsden. I just wonder how that must have felt for him.
I remember reading about the two actors who played the role of Aladdin in 1993. Yeah. He has a speaking voice and he has a singing voice. And the actor who played the speaking voice thought he'd lost the role because of his audition with the singing, and they decided they wanted him for that voice anyway, and they hired a singer. That's not rare for that to happen.
Yeah.
And it's not rare for something like this to have a pinch runner or a pinch hitter come in if you want someone for a very specific vision. And then when you don't see that person speaking, when you have that overlaid onto a cat, I think you get around that and you can get away with that a little bit.
Yeah. But now it leaves me with a question. There's got to be some version of the movie with Sean Murray's voice. Oh, I do agree that Jason Marsden's performance is spectacular. So I love it. Okay, but also, did you feel weird about the kiss on the cheek at the end when Thackeray is like, I'll be with you forever, or something like that?
Yeah.
And he kisses on the cheek. I'm like, couldn't kiss her on like the forehead? Couldn't give her a hug? Okay, well, whatever.
Trivia. In the years since the film's release, its appeal has only continued to grow. The Sanderson sisters now appear at Disney theme parks, in video games, notably the Kingdom Hearts series, via concert, and essentially every 5 years with each subsequent anniversary. That actors Bette Midler, Kathy Najimy, Sarah Jessica Parker, Thora Birch, Doug Jones, and others to appear at these events shows that they are A, still radically popular, and B, fun for the actors themselves.
For the shots of the witches flying in widescapes, they used puppets. You can watch the behind-the-scenes making-of video on YouTube.
Filmed at the Hollywood Forever Cemetery, the Hocus Pocus 25th Anniversary Halloween Bash featured interviews with members of the cast, including Bette Midler, Sarah Jessica Parker, and Kathy Najimy, as well as a costume contest hosted by Sharon and Kelly Osbourne. It aired on Freeform October 20th, 2018, where, along with the film, it averaged over 8 million views.
The makeup design, including the hair and teeth of Winifred Sanderson, was actually chosen by Bette Midler herself. She wanted to look like the Red Queen in Alice in Wonderland.
During her Divine Intervention tour in 2015, Bette Midler appeared on stage dressed as Winifred Sanderson. Her harlots appeared with her dressed as Mary and Sarah, and the three of them performed the film's version of I Put a Spell on You. Midler has repeatedly stated that Hocus Pocus was one of the highlights of her filmography, and that it was, quote, the most fun I'd had in my career up until that point, unquote.
I would literally die if I saw that. If I saw that in person, I would literally pass away. I would be Thackeray Binks.
But to say you'd have to have a virgin light a candle in your honor.
Bruh. One of the actors originally asked to play Max was Leo DiCaprio.
Mm-hmm.
What? Honestly, that would have been such a different film. And I'm glad they got who they got. I really think the film needed Omri Katz.
I'm not going to disagree. I think Omri Katz does a serviceable job. It's Leo effing DiCaprio. He couldn't do this film because he was scheduled to do What's Eating Gilbert Grape. Right. And it's a phenomenal performance.
That's true.
My godmother has worked with individuals with mental disabilities, and she legitimately thought that he had a problem, and she was angry at first because she's like, how dare they have this person and mock him on this film? And
wow.
I had to be like, no, he's an actor. He's doing a performance.
It really is such an incredible performance. Oscar-worthy, honestly.
Fans of the film can check out Hocus Pocus in Focus, the thinking fan's guide to Disney's Halloween classic, written by critic Aaron Wallace. It includes a foreword by Thora Birch and an afterword by Mick Garris, and is described as a lighthearted but scholarly look at the film, unquote, analyzing major themes, which it identifies as festivity, nostalgia, home, horror, virginity, feminism, Broadway-style musical moments, sibling rivalry, Spielbergian filmmaking styles, Disney villain traditions, and more. Wallace also analyzes Walt Disney World's Hocus Pocus Villain Spectacular as a part of the film's legacy and includes, quote, the largest collection of Hocus Pocus fun facts and trivia ever assembled, unquote. There's a reason why we've got a lot of trivia for this picture.
The story of Hocus Pocus came from a bedtime story producer David Kirshner told to his daughters, and his wife was the one who convinced him to create this.
Kirshner invented a tale of how the Sanderson sisters came about, stemming from the Winifred brood. Disney purchased the script, written by Mark Garris in 1984, but couldn't figure out the tone. Initially, it was much scarier, entitled Disney's Halloween House. Garris and Kirshner would later pitch it to Steven Spielberg's Amblin Entertainment as a co-production to get it off the ground. Spielberg saw Disney as a competitor to Amblin in the family entertainment market at the time and refused to co-produce a film with his rival.
Rosie O'Donnell was originally considered for the role of Mary. That would also be such a different film.
She didn't want to play an evil witch. She felt that would be disappointing to her fans.
Wow.
The city of Salem has celebrated its connection to Hocus Pocus for years. Local filming sites have been an attraction for fans despite the brevity of the film's production at that location. In 2018, the Haunted Happenings Grand Parade, an annual Salem festival held every October, was Hocus Pocus themed in honor of the film's 25th anniversary. A representative for Destination Salem was quoted as saying, quote, "There's always been a Hocus Pocus component to the visitors to Salem, especially in October, but it's like the film's following grows every year," unquote.
The moths in Billy's mouth, when he cuts his mouth open to speak, were real. They used a moth trainer on set.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Gross. Also, really, I couldn't do it.
Doug is just amazing.
Absolutely.
In a 2018 interview with Bloody Disgusting, makeup and special effects designer Tony Gardner said that Doug Jones wore a mouth rig, a latex pocket attached to dentures that blocked off Jones's throat to make the moths come out. Quote, "There was a small hole in the very back of the pocket so that Doug could cough some air through it. An animal wrangler would place several moths in the pocket with tweezers, then the stitches would be glued shut, and we'd run out of frame so that they could get to the shot as fast as possible," unquote, Gardner said.
The Devil's Dog was Kathy Najimy's.
The cast virtually reunited for In Search of the Sanderson Sisters, a Hocus Pocus Halloween takeover, which aired on October 30th, 2020. The one-hour broadcast, held during the COVID pandemic, raised funds for the New York Restoration Project. Too many celebrities to name here also made cameo appearances, so check it out if you're a fan.
It is said that SJP would keep a copy of the New York Times on her when she was flying in the air and would read it between takes.
Yeah, she was very comfortable in the harness.
Yes.
In 2022, Disney Channel ran a short titled Hocus Pocus as Told by Chibi. This continues the trend started by Big Chibi 6, the shorts, and continued with numerous other retellings as Chibi Tiny Tales.
In 2023, Disney re-released the film in select theaters on October 6th to commemorate its 30th anniversary. In 2024, Disney re-released the film in select theaters again on October 18th.
Rhythm and Hughes, the studio tasked with bringing the CGI Thackeray Binks to life, went to great lengths to ensure that his facial features were those of an actual cat. Disney found it too realistic, so to make him appear friendlier, Rhythm and Hughes made his fangs smaller and less pointed. The animal was animated by filming the scenes with a real cat and replacing its head with a computer-generated model.
The musical score for Hocus Pocus was composed and conducted by John Debney. James Horner was originally slated to score the film, but became unavailable at the last minute, so Debney had to score the entire film in 2 weeks. Contrary to popular rumor, the song Sarah Sanderson sings from the sky was not written by Edgar Allan Poe. It was written specifically for the film by Brock Walsh, and was composed by Horner, and the only music that was not composed by John Debney.
Several scenes appear in the various original trailers that are not included in the released version of the film. They include Mary and Sarah pushing Winifred into the school swimming pool, the witches being surrounded by trick-or-treaters holding out their hands, the witches meeting up with Billy only to complain about his foul stench, Mary and Winifred inspecting the school's lockers, and Mary snacking in a grocery store only to be dragged up by Winifred.
A sequel book released in 2018 revealed Jay and Ernie's fates. They were eventually rescued, and one boy went on to become the principal of the local high school. The other became a park ranger, so he could join search and rescue ops with the goal of helping lost and trapped people, since he knew firsthand how it felt to be in such a situation.
In a 2015 interview on Today, Kathy Najimy said she was initially reluctant to take the role of Mary, afraid she would offend real witches by stereotyping a fictitious fairy tale witch.
Sean Murray, who played Thackeray Binks, told Entertainment Weekly that after his mother married writer-producer Donald P. Belsario in 1998, his new stepsister Troyan was acting really awkward around him. She finally admitted that she had a childhood crush on his Hocus Pocus character when she was young, and that she was trying to work that out.
Oh, God.
I know. Yikes. Girl, pull yourself together.
On the Hocus Pocus 25th anniversary Halloween bash, Sarah Jessica Parker revealed that she actually ate the spider that appeared in the film.
No! It's not a real spider. No.
Check it out for yourselves, audiences.
That's why I know I'll never be as good as Sarah Jessica Parker. I would never eat a real spider. Ever. Pros. The acting from the Sanderson sisters is absolutely iconic. Great choices from all of them, and they really bring this film to life. They make this film for me. Anyone else, and I can't see this movie doing what it did.
The aesthetic is really pleasing. I'm not going to say it's an elegantly shot film, but the tone is perfect, the sets are pretty, the costuming is on point, and everything just kind of sings together, pardon the pun.
The plot, it's original and takes the viewer on such a fun ride.
Is it original? Bringing witches back to life?
Had it been done before?
Oh, you sweet summer child.
I'm serious!
I'm going to also say that the acting's generally pretty good. The standouts are the Sandersons, as their hammy performances allow all three actors to throw themselves into their roles. But I'm usually wary of child actors, and here I think each of the young performers are decent. Once again, up against the Sandersons, they can sometimes feel a little flat, but I don't think that that's their fault.
It's a time capsule movie that holds not only the magic of the time, but for most, fond familial memories.
The music is solid. Not just the score, but the singing and the quote-unquote poetry and the various incantations and invocations. This feels like a Halloween movie, and the music really helps take it to that next level.
Absolutely agree. John Debney, John did a good job. Thank you.
Excellent. Perfect.
The sisters discovering new things. I thought that's such a fun element. I would really love to see the outtakes. I don't know if they even exist. I know they were in the trailer, but I guess that's why they do it in the second one. I did see them, one's on a Roomba or something. So I'm that's fun to see, but I really wish we could have gotten it in this first one. I don't know there would be time, but
it's hard because this movie has to move, and that's another pro that I think that it does well. It has a nice pace to it.
Absolutely.
It's not too long. It's not too short. At a couple points, I feel it does drag a little bit after they kill the witches the first time. I feel there's a little bit of a lull right there, but that's a very minor quibble. For the most part, this knows what it's doing.
I also want to point out Thorpe. I really thought she was exceptional in this film. She's funny, serious, and I really believe the story she's telling. Cons.
The converse side to me liking the sisters so much is that I really don't care about our teenaged protagonists. Every time they're on screen, I'm like, okay, but where are the Sandersons? The actors are doing their best, but I think the script could have fleshed them out a little bit more so that I could care about them, particularly Max, who is such a jerk.
Yeah, he's a jerky older brother. But it's okay. Because then he becomes less jerky. He saves his sister. He puts himself in the line for her. I never understood why Thackeray cares about his sister so much.
They're brother and sister.
You're right. I'm just thinking, if my sisters were trapped with witches, would I try? I'd be like, I'm kidding. I love my sisters. I think I would save them. They would save me.
There's a lot of running around in this movie. It's not strictly a problem, but it just seems like we're hopping from plot point to plot point to plot point. I would have liked a little bit of a better escalation cycle, meaning that I could understand why they're going from place to place. It's a lot of running.
I mean, it's like this with Wild Goose Chase films.
Yeah.
You kind of have to keep running and meeting new points so that it keeps the story interesting. So you're not just running, you're stopping and they go to the dance party, then they go to the school, then they stop by the police officer who they think is police, not police. Sometimes the exposition is over the top, especially with Thackeray laying out the whole entire plot of what he's been doing. I knew you were going to hate that part. I was like, ooh, I bet Steele is rolling his eyes right now as I was watching. But I was like, I love this. I'm happy. I'm so happy.
The whole virginity thing, all of the sexual tension in this, the referencing preteen and teen bodies. It was bad then. It's worse now. It's not a critical failure of the film, but it just feels odd. And I don't mind commentary on sexuality in the appropriate film. This is a family movie.
Yeah. Having to explain what that means to your kids? No. I don't know. I don't like it. I kind of just ignore it, and maybe that's my bad. But yeah, it's one of the low points of this film. Also, one of the low points for me, which I don't even know why it was so necessary to make him this way, but the creepy ass bus driver. I don't like this guy. I hate him actually, and I don't know why he had to be added. It seems unnecessary. He's so sexualized. And then of course, Sarah. I mean, it's a funny thing, oh, look at them getting on the bus and you take them anywhere and what? Ugh, it just gives me the ick. Big ick. But that's my last con. So, it is my last con. That's all I got.
Personal opinion.
Now it's time for our personal opinions. You've heard from both of us throughout this episode, but here is where we share our own take, separate from our more objective findings in the verdict. Liz, this is your kind of film, and you've been gushing the entire time. I think we know the answer, but for the record, what is your personal opinion of Hocus Pocus?
This is a truly great film. I had so much fun watching again. And of course, I smiled at all the iconic lines and had to hold myself back from singing Put a Spell on You so I could really take in Bet's performance. This movie is always a great watch for me, and I always end feeling happier and fulfilled. It does everything it needs to do. It's iconic, it's heartwarming, it's hilarious. It's a true classic film. There has to be a reason why ABC Family played it every single day during 31 Days of Halloween. RIP ABC Family.
As for me, I won't say that I wound up loving Hocus Pocus this time around, but the third time is certainly charming, if not enchanting. The whole vibe of the movie pulled me in much more so this time around, and there were long stretches that I thought were fun, albeit not much more than that. It's a ride, but one that I don't think I'm going to be taking again anytime soon.
The verdict.
The critics and the crowd are divided. Audiences have grown to love this film, with 72% of them on Rotten Tomatoes finding themselves bewitched by Hocus Pocus. Professionals disagree, with only 41% thinking that this cauldron of witchcraft bubbles sweetly. Who got it right, Liz?
My audience. Are you joking me? My audience absolutely got it right. I give this film 4.5 stars. It is so good. I think it's an original idea. We go on a wild ride with these kids and get the treat of Bet, Sarah, and Kathy. This film for so many is so classic and so nostalgic, and I think it's truly a gem that should be celebrated and remembered for years to come. This movie has so much heart, which is true of all of Kenny Ortega's projects. Hocus Pocus is forever cemented in the Liz Hall of Fame, and I will be watching it every October without fail.
Audiences, critics, I think I'm going to have to say both on this kind of film. Just like I felt with Twilight, I find Hocus Pocus to not be a spectacular film, yet it understands its audience's desires and gives it to them in spades. If you're a film buff, I don't think Hocus Pocus is going to wow you, but if you're looking for a campy ride with a great cast, a not-so-scary tone, and some fun music, I think Hocus Pocus is your kind of movie if you can overlook the various sexualization aspects of it. And that does it for the critics and the crowd's take on Hocus Pocus. How did you like it? If you did, contact us. If you didn't, let us know. Let us know what kind of movies you might want to watch in the future, too. Just remember, there needs to be a 25% difference in audience or critic score for our usual episodes. We'll be back with more of those and more double features in the future. Liz, any last words you want to share about Hocus Pocus, the state of the industry or the state of the world before we turn off for the evening?
Remember, everyone, it's all just a bunch of hocus pocus. That was a quote from the movie, by the way.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay, go. The Critics in the Crowd is hosted by Liz Ramirez and Steele Philippek. Editing and production handled by Steele. Social media by Wendy Dobkin. Logo by Aria Feliciano. Music by Joel Studler, provided by a Humble Bundle. All audio effects are sourced through freesound.org and used under the Creative Commons license. If you feel that we used a piece of audio to which you own the rights, please email helmstarmedia@gmail.com.
This episode was recorded at the Communipub branch of the Jersey City Public Library. Special thanks to Kyle Ramsey and all of the amazing librarians at this location throughout the United States and throughout the world. To quote R. David Lanks, bad libraries build collections, good libraries build services, and great libraries build communities.